Finally watched every anime I wanted this season. But now there is nothing to do! I feel empty. Well, at least let's see what can I expect from fall. Oh! Sousou Frieren is getting anime adaptation. Maybe it's finally time to read the manga. I've heard only good things about that. And also that it's pretty sad. I mean, it's adventure fantasy. It can't be that sad. It is sad, but also beautiful. You have already seen many animes with this fantasy theme, a world that is under the cruelty of Demon Lord, a hero destined to defeat the foe of the world with his party full of waifu materials. Just think of your typical isekai. But Sousou no Frieren, or Frieren Beyond Journey's End if you want it in English, starts its story at the end of their journey. Himmel the hero, Eisen the warrior, Hater the priest, and Frieren the mage is the party that was on a journey to defeat the Demon King, and after 10 long years they managed to defeat him and thus begin the Age of Peace. And so as they are getting their praises in the capital, they are also remembering all the things that happened to them in those 10 years of travel. And luckily they can say their goodbyes under this meteor shower that happens once in 50 years. But as everyone is enjoying the view, Frieren notes that it is really hard to see it in the city. And so she suggests that 50 years from now she will take them to a better place to see it. As the party parts away, Frieren then goes on her separate journey for knowledge and gathering new magic, with coming back to say hi now and then. But for Frieren, who is an elf, time flies a bit differently. The decade that she has spent with her party to defeat the Demon King was a decent chunk of her companion's life, but for Frieren it was hardly any time. And when she finally reunited with her old party after 50 years, the famous hero who defeated the Demon King is now just an old man. But that still didn't stop them to go on their last journey together, remember the old days, and finally see the meteor shower from the place Frieren talked about. But time has taken its toll when Himmel, once the legendary hero, dies. For Himmel, who spent 10 years with Frieren, he saw her as a dear friend, as someone who has spent a long portion of his life close to him. But for Frieren, he was just another person that she have met in her long lifetime. For us humans, 10 years can take a lot from our lives, and another 50 years is over half of our lifetime. But for Frieren, 10 years is just merely a 1/100th of her life, which is why at the funeral, Frieren at first seems like the person she is, without any emotions, before out of nowhere she starts to cry. Not at the loss of her dear friend, but at the loss to know him as one. She hardly knew anything about him. They only traveled together for 10 years, which is nothing for Frieren, but she knew that human lives were short, so why didn't she get to know him more? Well, goddamn, and this was only the opening chapter. This manga will take you from its first chapter and never let go. From this point on, Frieren will go on her journey to retrace the steps of her old party to learn more about her friends she knew so little about. Time is a huge theme in this story, and how Frieren perceived herself. In every chapter there is a reminder on how long it has been after Himmel's death, and yet it feels like no time has passed for Frieren. What can happen in this manga is that several months and even years can pass in only one panel, and you can take this storytelling as from Frieren's perspective. She's an elf that can live for over 1,000 years, and for us humans it feels like she's basically immortal. But for Frieren, a few years may seem like only a few days. As Frieren goes on her journey, we will come across to all the effects that the hero party has made from saving the towns and villages, and how the memories being preserved. You can be part of the biggest event in the world history, but as time moves on, the people that were in that era will slowly disappear with their memories. The stories get passed on through generations, and all that will remain will be statues of people whose names you can barely remember. And this is the reason why this manga is so sad. It tells a story that we humans just can't ever comprehend. What happens when all of your friends around you pass away? How can you start a new bond when you know their entire lives will be just a tiny piece in yours? All the memories that you make together will stay only with you, and it is just a matter of time before you forget about them. It doesn't matter if you live for 100 years or for 1,000 years, because the time can pass by as quickly as turning a page, and what matters the most is how you decide to spend this precious time. So that was the general theme of this manga. Now let's talk about the action. Even though Frieren manga is really slow and calm story, sometimes it fucking slaps. Frieren is a mage that was part in defeating the Demon King, so she was hella OP even back then, but with each and every year, Frieren is honing her magic, getting even more powerful. And we can see that power when she is defeating any monster she encounters with ease. There is a chapter that just shows how much power Frieren has and how much time has passed. When she returns to one of the villages she visited years ago with her party, because back then that village was attacked by a powerful demon that created the killing magic called Zoltrak, the very first piercing spell in history. He was so powerful that even the hero party couldn't defeat him, and so they sealed him away. And now his seal is about to break, so Frieren is about to fight him once again. When this demon finally broke from his seal, he immediately uses his spell Zoltrak on Frieren, but she blocked it with ease. A surprise for the demon seeing his powerful magic being blocked by advanced defensive spell. But what he didn't realize is that that was just a ordinary defensive magic. You see, his magic was so strong that even after being sealed away, humanity had to do something about the dangerous spell. So they studied and analyzed his magic, and in just few years, killing magic became part of humanity's magic knowledge. And after that, they just developed powerful defensive spell using their new techniques. In those 80 years, not only the defensive spells, but also the resistance of equipment improved remarkably, making the killing magic just an ordinary offensive magic. And so once the powerful demon was defeated by his own magic. What I like about this chapter is again how the time plays a huge role. Once the most dangerous magic a century ago is just now a common human knowledge. And it just shows how much time is actually 80 years for humans. But there is also another thing that this chapter does, and that is showing us how the demons are handled in this story. What I mean about that is that when you see a demon in this manga, they looks like something straight out of like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, but they talk, think, and sometimes even act like humans. Demons in this story doesn't exist for the purpose of being threat to the humans, but they are other species living on this planet. They are not evil by the nature or being misunderstood by the humans. They are just other species with predator instincts, knowing they are higher in the food chain than us humans, and using this knowledge in their favor. It's the same with humans and animals. We, the humans, are the apex predators, and we are hunting wild animals for food. But in the perspective of the demons, we are now the wild animals being to be hunted by the apex predators. They are not smarter than us humans, nor they are great strategists. They are just predators capable of communicating with us. It's really nice to finally see a story where the demons actually act, and they are not just the blank creature wandering around the world just to be killed by the main protagonist like in every single shitty isekai. Simply, Sousou no Frieren is just a masterpiece with its nice and calm storytelling, and I cannot wait for the anime adaptation that will take this story and give it alive with voice acting, sound effects and music, which by the way is gonna be sound like from heaven, because music is done by Evan Cole, the same guy that made music for Violet Evergarden. So prepare your pack of tissues, because this is gonna be a emotional ride. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'm finally back, but don't expect videos once per week as I promised. After the PC incident, I just don't have the passion and the mood to again spend hundreds and hundreds of hours on something that I've already done. But don't worry, I have a plan. So if you want to talk about anything or just want to hang out, just come to twitch.tv/Nitenn, where I will be 100% more active than here on YouTube. So yeah, come to Twitch to talk about anything about manga, anime, degeneracy, games and stuff. Anyway, I wish you a nice rest of your day or night, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.